Once upon a time, in the shining glass towers of Houston, Texas, a company was rewriting the rules of capitalism. Its name was Enron. In the late 1990s, Enron was the golden child of corporate America, a place where ambition was celebrated.
Because Enron didn't just sell electricity or gas. It sold dreams. The dream of infinite growth.
By 2000, Enron was the 7th largest company in the United States. We're rock stars.
But here's the thing. Behind every dream that looks too perfect, there's usually a spreadsheet that doesn't add up. Or revashers. The company's business model was as complex as it was brilliant at first. Enron began as a traditional energy. It was no longer about pipelines and power plants. It was about numbers on a screen. The idea was seductive. Wall Street loved it. When Enron made deals, they used something called mark-to-market accounting. In plain English, it meant they could record potential future profits today. It was genius, and totally legal to us, at least for a while. Every deal looked like a win. Every quarter looked like... On paper, Enron was invincible. In reality, it was a sandcastle built on accounting tricks and confidence.
When analysts started asking questions, Enron responded not with answers, but with attitude.
Jeff Skilling once called a skeptical investor an asshole. That's how high Enron was flying. They thought gravity didn't apply to them. But storms have a way of finding those who pretend they can control the weather. Behind the scenes, CFO Andy Fasto was creating hundreds of fake companies, shell entities designed to hide debt and inflate profits. He called them partnerships. The truth? They were smoke and mirrors, and billions of dollars disappeared into thin air. Enron stock skyrockets. Analysts predict 100 per share. Fastest growing company in America. Investors had no idea they were buying air.
Then, in late 2001, the truth began to leak. The toe. One memo, one whistleblower, one too curious journalist at a time.
The illusion shattered. The empire built on lies was finally burning under the light of truth.
In December 2001, Enron filed for bankruptcy, the largest in U.S. history at that time.
Imagine waking up one morning to find your retirement fund gone, your job gone, your pride gone. That was Enron's legacy.
And when justice came knocking, those same men who once boasted of brilliance suddenly forgot how to do math. The scandal wasn't just about numbers, it was about arrogance. About thinking the rules didn't apply to you because you wrote your own.
By 2006, Enron was gone. But its ghost lingered then, in classrooms, in boardrooms, and it forced America to ask, how many other Enrons are still out there, just waiting to fall?
Business schools rewrote their ethics courses. Lawmakers tightened regulations. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act was born from Enron's ashes.
It wasn't just about Wall Street tide, it was about Main Street. About ordinary people paying the price for extraordinary greed. The company that once called itself the world's leading energy corporation became a cautionary tale whispered in financial circles.
Enron taught the world that innovation without integrity isn't genius. It's just fraud with better branding. And maybe that's the ultimate truth. It's not the fall that defines you. It's what you learn before you hit the ground.
Even years later, journalists revisited the Enron story, not out of nostalgia, but as a warning to those who believed lightning couldn't strike twice.
Corporations learned to whisper the word transparency, as if it were a sacred prayer, not for faith, but for survival. But greed doesn't die. It just finds new code to hide behind. The ghosts of Enron now live in algorithms, cleaner, faster, more convincing, but just as dangerous.
History doesn't repeat itself perfectly, but it rhymes, especially when money sings the same song.
Every era gets its Enron, dressed in new buzzwords, wrapped in digital gold.
But the lesson remains the same. The higher the tower, the longer the shadow.
Maybe the real question isn't how Enron fell, but whether we've learned enough to stop the next one. Enron may be gone, but its echo still shapes the way we look at power, profit, and truth. Because in the end, Enron wasn't just a company. It was a mirror.
An empire built on brilliance, arrogance, and illusion. Again, all there's left now is silence.
When the truth came out, it wasn't a thunderclap, Sinity. It was a slow unraveling of everything they thought they could hide. Power, it seems, burns bright until the fuel runs out. In the end, justice wasn't swift, but it came. And it spoke in the language they understood best. The symbol that once represented power now became a relic, a museum piece for corporate hubris. For the thousands who worked there, the collapse wasn't just financial, it was personal. Some never recovered. Some learned to rebuild. But all of them remembered. Enron vanished, but its shadow stretched long for Sunt, across decades, markets, and minds. Maybe Enron's fall wasn't the end of a story, but a reminder that in the pursuit of power, truth is always the first casualty.
Enron wasn't just a company that fell by. It was a warning written in numbers and ignored by everyone who thought they were smarter.
They called it the smartest company in America. But as history shows, intelligence without integrity is just a faster road to ruin. In the late 1990s, Enron wasn't just successful, it was untouchable. Or at least, it thought it was. At its peak, Enron made over $100 billion in revenue, but no one really knew where that money came from.
Ken Lay was the visionary, charming, persuasive, a master of the corporate stage, the kind of man who could sell fire to the sun.
Then came Jeff Skilling, the brain, the architect behind Enron's most brilliant and most dangerous ideas.
It was called mark-to-market accounting. In plain English, Enron could count profits before they even existed. Investors didn't care. Wall Street loved it. And who doesn't love a story where numbers only go up?
Full flash. By 2000, Enron was America's seventh largest company. A new kind of empire, built on.
Inside, the traders called it the smartest guys in the room. Outside, the world called it genius. But genius can rot, especially when fed by greed. Behind the glass, secrets were piling up faster than profits. And no one wanted to look too closely. Enron created hundreds of secret entities, paper companies that existed only to hide debt. It was accounting alchemy, turning losses into gold.
Andrew Fastow, the financial magician. He didn't make Enron richer. He just made its lies prettier.
They thought they'd crack the system, and maybe they did. Until the system came knocking back. In late 2001, a single question broke everything. Where is the money?
In a matter of weeks, $70 billion in market value vanished, like smoke from a burning ledger.
Thousands of employees lost everything: pensions, savings, hope. Some found out their 401 was worth less than a cup of coffee.
The same men who once commanded Wall Street now stood before Congress, stammering through excuses.
When the smoke cleared, Enron wasn't just gone. It had taken trust with it. After Enron, new laws were born. Sarbanes-Oxley, corporate reforms, promises of transparency. But rules can't replace conscience. Enron's fall wasn't just a story of greed. It was a reminder. That truth, no matter how buried, always finds a way to rise.